there, and welcome to this video. We're going to take a look at a dialogue in Maltese that you see here on the screen, and we're going to read it and then translate it word by word, giving some explanations or some things that you might not know in Maltese yet. And then afterwards we're going to read it again. So let's read it. Hello John, fijn kont. Mela, jenaw nisa. Satejni lu saqsejt xi ħaġa. Eżatt, iżda m'għandix risposta tiegħek. X'waħda din? Dom temp wis fl-uffiċċju u issa x-xogħol mhux passatemp. Insomma, għandi risposta imma minix żgur. Kompli xtaf. Tkellimt ma' Marie u ddiskutejna ftit dwar il-proċedura. Ejja, taqbel li nixtru computers ġodda jew le. Taqbel fis-sens li għandna bżonn ntejbu l-infrastruttura tagħna. Imma ma tridx tixtri l-computers ġodda? Qed tgħid suppost nużaw l-istess computers b'software ġdid. Hekk trid? Hekk trid. Ma taqbilx? Le, ma naqbilx. Diġà għandna l-istess computers ta' 5 snin ilu. Sewa, dak iż-żmien ma kellniex computers tajbin. U issa fimt għaliex għandna bżonn computers ġodda? Iva, u x'se nagħmlu? Bl-onestà kollha ma nafx. Ma nistgħux nistennew sakemm computer wieħed jieqaf jaħdem. Fosthom hemm wieħed li jieħu nofs siqa biex jintefa'. B'dan il-mod nibża li mhux se nistennew żmien twil. Alright, this dialogue is a little bit advanced, some difficult words that I use myself and I had to learn myself, honestly, because it's a little bit challenging. But okay, let's read it again and translate it word by word. So, hello John, fijn kont. Hello John, where were you? So, hello. Some people write it differently, but that's the equivalent of the English hello John, name of the person. Fijn, where, and kont, you were, or were you, or am I, where was I? You could translate it as was I, or I was. But from the context, John asks, the person asks to John, where were you? And it's clear that it's you were. Alright. Then Mela jen hawn issa. Well, I'm here now. Mela, first word you learn usually. Well, most people learn it. It's the first word in Maltese they learn. It's like well. You can use it at the end of any sentence. And it doesn't mean much. So that's Mela. Jen, I or I am. So you can use it in combination with a verb. For example, jen kont, I was. Or if it stands alone, it means I am without a verb. Sometimes written with a, and here it's written without an a. So jena and jen. Jen aun isa, I am here now. Aun here isa. Yeah, you can also use it as a little bit as a decorative word like isa, like now, just like in English. Next sentence, satejni lu saqsejt xi ħaġa. 2 hours ago, I asked you something, or I asked something. That's better. Satejn comes from sia, and some words in Maltese take the dual plural. Maybe you've already heard of it. You can recognize it with this jn or this ejn. That means that the plural is only used for a pair. For example, your hands, your 2 hands, both of your hands would be idein. And it is something really, really special because in English there isn't really an equivalent. Maybe both of would be a best of an equivalent in English. So you have sia, and then there's a plural for more than 1 hour, and there's a plural for 2 hours. And the plural for 2 hours is satain. Satain ilou, ilou ago. Even if it's 2 hours, we're going to use ilou. Ilou ago, so 2 hours ago. Sa zait shihaja. Shihaja, sometimes pronounced shahaja, but we write shihaja. Something. Haja is thing. And sa zait, nistasi, that means I ask. Sa zait, I asked. So it's I asked in the past. So the conversation is, hi John, where were you? Well, hey, I'm here right now. Well, 2 hours ago I asked you something. So who knows what's going to happen next. It's a lot of tension here in the dialogue. But this is a fictional dialogue. I wrote it myself, so it's not a real dialogue. Good. Exato examandice resposta tiak. Exato, a word you hear very often. Exactly, or like something like correct, or that's true, something like that. Exato. And with a little bit of imagination, so you can recognize the word exactly in it. Exato. The A and the T and the E. Is that mandice resposta tiak? Is that one of the words to say? But mandice I do not have. So usually for the negative we're going to add ma and then sh at the end, and andi, that is I have. But because it starts with a vowel, we're going to use the M and then this apostrophe thing that's called mandish. So because it starts with an A, the ein here isn't pronounced. Actually, if you have trouble remembering the word I have, I remembered it by thinking of Gandhi. Yeah, Gandhi, I have Gandhi. So I have Gandhi, and then Andi would be the I have. Gandhi, the political, well, not really political, the Indian who helped liberate India. So I have Gandhi, good way to remember Andi. I risposta tiak, risposta, your answer. Tiak, your, put it after the noun. I risposta, the answer, or the response. Response, you could recognize it better here. Risposta, it looks more like response, but answer would be the most used English way to translate this. So exactly, but I don't have your answer. Next one. Xwaħda dom temp wis fl-uffiċċju u issa ix-xogħol mhux passatemp. Xwaħda literally what one this. But it's kind of an expression. It's like when you're expressing, when you're surprised about something, like wait, what? That's xwaħda din. Like, what is this? Dom temp wis l-uffiċċju. So don't, something like delay, temp wis, too much time. Temp, you recognize the word here, temperature, maybe. It has something to do with, well, very indirectly with time, but you could remember it like that. Wis, and then l'ufficio, the office. Looks a little bit the same. L'ufficio. Also a strange way to write it with two C's. But okay. And now, issa. So it means you stayed too much time at the office. And now, or you took too much time. Something like that. And now, ix-xogħol mhux passatemp. Ix-xogħol, the work or job. Mhux is not. Passatemp. Passatemp is a hobby. If you know any French, passe-temps, that's a hobby. So it means your job isn't a hobby. All right, and mhux, you may recognize it from mhux problema. It's not a problem or no problem. So your job isn't like a hobby. Insomma, something like, well, okay, a little bit like mela. insomma. Also, when someone asks how are you and you reply insomma, and then you would say, well, it's going all right, not good, not bad. So insomma. I think it also comes from Italian, but my Italian isn't really good. So insomma, Andi risposta e ma menish scur. Andi, do you remember what it means? I have Gandhi. Well, I have risposta. I have an answer, but I'm not sure. Risposta here does not have an article, as you can see, whereas here it had an article. Here it meant exactly, but I don't have your answer. It's more concrete. It's the answer. I have the answer of yours. I don't have the answer of yours, and here I have an answer. So the article, you would use it with the, and without article a. I have an answer, and then you don't need to put an article there. Imma minish skur, but I am not sure. Skur, sure. Minish, I am not. It's a little tricky because yen, yeah, you somehow recognize it in there, in the n here, and minish is I am not. Good. Compli, compli. Stuff. Continue, continue, or like go on, go on. Yeah, you can hear it when people are talking in it on the telephone, like go on, go on. Stuff, what, sh, and then taf, you know. So, what do you know? We have an answer, but we don't know what John knows. Tkellimt ma Marie u diskutejna ftit dwar il-proċedura. Tkellimt, I talked, or you talked, with Marie, Marie, or Marie, depending how you pronounce it. So I talked with Marie, and here the ma, it's not mal, and why? Because it's a noun of it's a person. Persons don't take like the article. Also, not in English, you don't say die Marie, or it doesn't really sound right. You can say a Marie, but as we've seen, a Marie doesn't take the article. I talked with Marie, u diskutejna ftit dwar il-proċedura, and u diskutejna, we talked, we discussed. You see, diskutejna, well, it looks similar to English. Ftit, a little, about the procedure. Diskutejna ftit dwar il-proċedura. And we talked a little bit about the procedure. The na here, you can see there's no conjugation at the front, there's only a conjugation at the end, which indicates it will be the past tense. Na, we. That's the past tense for we. Eja, taqbal li nixtru computers ġodda jew le. So the person is becoming a little bit impatient. And how do you see it? Eja. That means like, come on, go on, tell me, come on. I'm getting impatient here. Taqbal, a word that means to agree. Does she agree? Taqbal, that nixtru, we buy computers. Well, surprise, means computers. Ġodda, new, like new. Jew or not, or no, literally. So together, come on. Does she agree? Does she agree that we will buy new computers or no? Taqbel, so the T, you might know T. You agree and she agrees. In this context, we're talking about Marie, and Marie is a woman. So taqbel, she agrees. Does she agree that we buy new computers? Ġodda, this is the plural of ġdid, or ġdida for a female. Ġodda, it's a little bit different. Or not. Alright. Taqbel, fis-sens li għandna bżonn ntejbu l-infrastruttura tagħna. Taqbel, she agrees, or you agree, but here we know it's Marie. Fis-sens, in the sense, and this is literally in the sense. So Vicens here is very often in the sense that anabzon, we need, or we have literally a need. Nteibu, to improve, or we have a need that we improve l'infrastruttura, infrastructure, you're guessing that right, Tana, our. So she agrees in the sense that we need to improve our infrastructure. Nteibu, you recognize here teib from tayeb, that's the verb to improve, to make better, or to make good. So that's, it means to improve. Nteibu l'infrastruttura tana. Good. Next sentence. Ima matrice distril computers joda. Emma, but matrice, she does not want. So the sh, ma, sh. Distri, to buy, but here she buys il computers joda, the new computers. So, but she doesn't agree to buy new computers, is the question. And here, matrice, she does not want to buy. If you're using two verbs, matrice distri, in English and in many other languages, we're going to use an infinitive here. She does not want to buy. In Maltese, we're going to keep on to use the same conjugation again. Trit distri. Do you want to buy? Or does she want? Actually, here she doesn't want to buy. So she wants to buy. Trit distri. We're going to conjugate them both. And in the negative, we're only going to add the sh with the first one. We're not going to add it with the second verb we use in the sentence. All right, let's continue. So it's getting really exciting. Are we going to get new computers or not? At tijd, supposed nu zou listes computers software stiet. At tijd, or at night, it means something like I'm telling you. Well, not at tijd. At tijd, she is telling at tijd, but you may recognize it from the Maltese. You hear at night. Well, I'm telling you. So night, I tell. At night, that's the present continuous. I am telling you. Add, simplest way to add the present continuous to your vocabulary. Just say at, and then the normal conjugation of the verb. Tijd here, you tell. Just add the at. So I'm going to drink a little bit because my throat. My throat needed some water. All right, so at, simplest way. There are other ways, but at tijd, that's she is telling. Supposed, this word I hear very often when I'm listening to Maltese. Supposedly, or I suppose. So, or I guess, something like that. And supposed, yeah, that's one of the words that you hear very often. She is telling. Supposedly, we use, nous zou, listes computers, the same computers, software dit, with new software. So, supposed, nous zou, you can recognize here use, we use, ne, au at the end, that's the present tense for we. Listes, the same. Listes, computers, you've guessed that right again. Software with b. Software means software. Jdid, new. So from jodda, that's the plural. Jdid is the male in the singular. Jdida, female. Alright, so she is telling. Supposedly, we use the same computers with new software. So Marie, she actually wants new software. She doesn't want new computers. Ektriet, is it that what she wants? Okay, ek is something like that. She wants it like that. Triet, she wants, and then ek. She wants it like that. And then the answer is ektriet. She wants it like that. Ma taqbilx, taqbil, we've already seen it. Taqbel, that's to agree. Ma taqbilx, you don't agree. Ma taqbilx. Ma and then sh and then the taqbil. Sometimes when the negative is used, the E turns into an I, so it changes a little bit here. But the rest of the words remains the same. Alright. Le ma naqbilx. No, I do not agree. Ma naqbilx. Diġa għandna l-istess computers ta' 5 snin ilu. Diġa, already. Do not forget this little thing here. I don't know how you call it. On top of the A, it sometimes comes on. It only comes on an A with in Maltese. It's kind of hard to find it on your keyboard if you have an English keyboard. So dija, there's a little thing there on there. Dija already. I think it comes from Italian. Dija and déjà in French. Dija għandna l-istess computers. We have għandna already l-istess. You remember l-istess, the same computers of ta' 5 snin ilu. 5, 5 snin, years, ilu, ago. So we're already having the same computers from 5 years ago. I mean, literally means it's been 5 years we have the same computers. Well, not literally. In English, you would say it's been 5 years since we have the same computers. So lots of problems at the office. Sewa, dak iż-żmien ma kellniex computers tajbin. Sewa, good. A little bit like tajjeb. Dak iż-żmien, in that time, or at that time, dak iż-żmien, remember that with dak you have to use an extra article, which is not so in English. So dak iż-żmien, that time, and literally that the time. That time, ma kellniex computers tajbin. We did not have good computers. Ma kellniex computers tajbin. Tajbin, good. Plural of good. Tajjeb, tajba, tajbin. Ma kellniex, we did not have. So kell will be used with the past tense of to have. Kelli, etc., etc. And here kellniex, kellna means to have. Well, we had kellna, and as I said, with this taqbilx, the I, the A becomes actually an I here. Kellna, ma kellniex. So the I changes there. So at that time we didn't have good computers. All right. So wisa fimt għaliex għandna bżonn computers ġodda. And now, do you understand, or did you understand why we need new computers? So John finally understands. Well, you see it from the second phrase. Eva, I understand now. We've been having 5 computers, and even at that time they weren't good computers. So now do you understand why we need new computers? Alish, why? Fimt, understood. You understood. It's also something you would ask. Fimt, did you understand? Fimt, yes, I understood. All right, and now did you understand why we need new computers? Eva, yes. Ush senamlu, and what? Shh. Senamlu, what are we going to do? Namlu, se namlu, se for the future tense. Plonesta kolla manavsh. Onesta, again, same with this dija. Whoop, a little a, and you see there a little. It doesn't change the meaning of the sentence, but it's just like that. We write the word like that, so you don't need to think too much about it, just not to forget it. Plonesta kolla manavsh. In all honesty, I don't know. Manavsh, very important phrase. I don't know. If someone asks you something in Maltese and you didn't understand it, just answer manavsh, and then they will continue talking in Maltese. Plonesta. honesta, honesty, literally with the whole honesty, but in English you would say honestly, like to tell you the truth, something like that. With l'onestà, the honesty, kolla, the whole, or in total honesty. I don't know. Maar nistaus nista nou sakem computer wie het je af jadem. Manistaus, so we can't. Manistaus. I said earlier here, sometimes the I changes, the ow sometimes does not change, so it's just sometimes that this A here changes into an I, or some other letter changes into an I. Manistaus nistanau, we cannot wait, nistanau, so nistanau, we wait, sakem, until, so you can also use sa for until. Or sometimes with an apostrophe, s, or sa. Sakem computer we had until a computer ye af yahdem stops working. Ye af, the imperative, you might know it. Ye af stop. Ye af he stops, and in this case the computer stops working. Again, two conjugations here. He stops working. In English, you say here working, but this doesn't work like that in Maltese. It's the computer. Ye af yahdem twice. Literally, it would be until sakem computer one. It actually means a computer. He stops. He works. So until computer one, he stops, he works. But as I said, in Maltese we're going to continue to conjugate the other verbs in the sentence according to the subject of the sentence. Alright? So in one way, computer we had yahdem. We can't wait until a computer stops working. We had would be a bit the equivalent of a here. It's one way to say a. You don't need in other in another sentence we've seen it. The a doesn't really need this we had, but you can also use we had. All right, we had because it's computer is male apparently. Wahda for female. Fostom en mi het jihu nofsia bish in tefa. So between them, fostom, between the computers like fostom, and we had there is one, and here you need one, because we're talking about one computer. There's no noun here. There's one that takes nofsia, half an hour to shut down, in order to shut down. So literally between them, there, one, that, he takes half hour in order to, he shuts down. So, but in English you would say there's one that takes half an hour to shut down. Good. I think that's rather clear. Bish, you can also use sabish, but bish is in order to or to. Nofsia, half an hour. And then the last sentence, b'dan il-mod nibsa li mux se nistenau zmin twil. B'dan il-mod, this way, or literally with this, the way. Remember that you need an article here with dan. Nibsa, I fear that we're not going to wait a long time. Mush is to know, if you want to put the future tense and the negative, you have to use here mush in front of the s. Mush is to know, we're not going to wait. Zmin, time, and then tweel a long. So zmin tweel a long time. Ha, pretty depressing story. The computers are going down, unfortunately. Let's read it again and try to understand everything. Hello John, fejn kont? Mela, jena hawn Sa'tejn ilu saqsejt xi ħaġa. Eżatt, iżda m'għandix risposta tiegħek. X'waħda din? Dom temp wis fl-uffiċċju u issa x-xogħol mhux passatemp. Insomma, għandi risposta imma minix żgur. Kompli. X'taf? Tkellimt ma' Marie u diskutejna ftit dwar il-proċedura. Ejja, taqbel li nixtru computers ġodda jew le? Taqbel fis-sens li għandna bżonn ntejbu l-infrastruttura tagħna. Imma ma tridx tixtri l-computers ġodda? Qed tgħid, suppost nużaw l-istess computers b'software ġdid. Hekk trid? Ma taqbilx? Le, ma naqbilx. Diġà għandna l-istess computers ta' 5 snin ilu. Sewa, dak iż-żmien ma kellniex computers tajbin. U issa fimt għaliex għandna bżonn computers ġodda? Iva, u x'se nagħmlu? Bl-onestà kollha ma nafx. Ma nistgħux nistennew sakemm computer wieħed jieqaf jaħdem. Fosthom hemm wieħed li jieħu nofsiqa biex jintefa'. Dan il-mod nibsa li mhux se nistennew żmien twil. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful to you. If you want more of these dialogues, you can just click on the playlist and listen to more Maltese dialogues. And, well, see you there.